guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so as I told you yesterday in my video, all my measurements and my weight was up, right? So as it happened, the reason why, it was time for my month, okay? So that tells me I have officially lost a little bit. And I'll tell you what else is going on. And this is in real reflection, just thinking on it. That, like, when I wasn't eating the leafy greens and I was really lacking on the proteins. Let me back up a little bit, okay? Yesterday morning, I got up at 4:22 to take the dog out, and then I had to get up again at 5 o'clock for me and hubby to go somewhere. Had to get up. And then I ended up staying up so late last night, I couldn't even get to sleep. And so it was after midnight, and I was up again, like, I think either after 1 or 3. I'm thinking it was after 1. And I was up probably a good 20 minutes then. And then I was up again this morning at 7. Now, to come back to what I'd started saying, when I was eating more carb than I was protein and didn't have the leafy greens, I would have felt lethargic this morning. I would probably still be sitting on my bed staring, not able to get myself going. But this morning, I've already took care of business. Like, we're taking care of a couple rabbits for my daughter while she's in Colorado with her boyfriend. And so I've already took care of them, and now I'm walking. And I haven't really thought twice about it. In the last couple days, and this is the other thing, like normally, not to go really back to the subject, but this is how it is normally when I'm on more carb than anything. When it comes close time for my month, I don't have any energy at all. And like, I was misled. I didn't think it was that close, because I was like dancing just the day before. Dancing 2 days in a row, dancing, full of energy, just at it. Click, 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 at it. So that tells me, because there's this thing that you can get yourself into when you eat proper, when you have the right balance and proportions of macros and stuff, that your body goes into fat burning mode, where it completely and totally relies on your fat storage for energy. Now, when your diet consists more of carbs and less proteins, your body burns the carbs that you give it through the food. And therefore, eventually, it's something similar to having a sugar high. You've got all that energy until that sugar drops, and then all of a sudden you find yourself needing to sleep. It's same effects with any other type carb. But when you've got the proper balance with the proteins and all, it just works out more equally. Your body goes more into using your fat storage. That's where your energy is. That's when you really feel your energy. That's when you really feel it. So I can tell after me getting up early and then staying up late and getting up and then getting up early again that I'm still walking. I've got myself back where I wanted it, back where I was at the beginning of the year. Because at the beginning of the year, where I was making sure that I had the proper balance with the proteins and stuff, I was able to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. I was having to do it in the house because the weather wasn't agreeable, where it was winter and everything. And but I was doing anywhere from 30,000 steps to even like 45,000 steps. Even hit 50,000 steps one night. Like, I was using my Fitbit at the time, and it would zero out at midnight. And midnight came, and I was still so full of energy. I mean, I was seriously full of energy after midnight. And I continued just about running in the house, so full of energy, just fast-paced walking, and ended up hitting another, I think, either another 5,000 steps or 10,000 steps. I ended up doing around 50,000 steps that night, even though my Fitbit zeroed out. But it was still around 50,000 steps in one of my challenges. So, yeah, that's where the energy really comes from. There's these energy drinks that gives you the vitamin B12, and not all of them runs on vitamin B12. There's a lot of energy drinks that doesn't. But they still give you the adrenaline through caffeine. And the problem with caffeine is it does run out. And caffeine is just the same as a carb. So it's a fast energy. It's not an all day energy. It's not a I can keep going energy. It's a fast energy. Once it runs out, that's it. You're drained. So yes, I've got my body back to where it was, and I'm going to keep going like this to the best of my ability. I'm going to keep doing this, find out ways of really keeping my leafy greens interesting, so I don't get bored with them, because I would hate for me to stop having my greens and my proteins. I would hate to start going back to carbs again. And yes, I still need my carbs, like usually when I eat again, when I'm hungry again. My meal pretty well contains the carbs, but my first meal contains the proteins. And even with the second meal, a lot of times there's some protein in it. Not as much as the first meal. But that's the other thing. With me really packing the protein in when I break my fast, once again, I'm not hungry so much. And so, and I done a little experiment last night about cookies. And of course the cookies was for the family, but I ate some, and I was already back in my fast, but I ate some, and yeah, they were good, but I also shared some of the cookie crumbs with my dog, and Drunk a whole can of soda. Yes, I did. And then I turned around and I fixed myself some shrimp. And it was just plain shrimp. It wasn't battered or deep fried or nothing. I just heated it up in the microwave. And had that with a little bit of Catalina dressing. And then I ate some more cookies. And I discovered my body, even though on occasion it wants a little bit of sugar, a little bit of a sweet, like a cookie or a candy, it's not into it. I absolutely went appetite how can I describe it? I went absolutely taste bud crazy on the shrimp. Okay? Like my body was like, yeah, more shrimp, more shrimp, more shrimp. But I only had so much left, so. And the cookies, like, my body was going, another one? Can't you just give it all to the dog? But I couldn't because there was chocolate chips in it. So she is lucky to get any pieces without any chocolate. So, yeah. As long as I can keep my body like this, where it doesn't go back to binge eating on junk food and continues to crave the proteins and the nutrients from the leafy greens, I'm going to be okay. And the best way for me to keep from going back to desiring the junk food like crazy, like I once did, because there was one day, some years ago, that I didn't want anything but chips, cookies, and candy. That's what we had. We went on a binge shopping trip and bought a big giant pack of Chips Ahoy, a couple different bags of Doritos. We had gotten the sweet chili and the nachos, and I don't remember what candies. And I loaded my plate up with the cookies and the candies and the chips, and then went back for more, and that's all I ate all day. That's all I wanted all day long. Now, I don't know what was necessarily up with that, but on a normal basis, like even without that kind of day, without that particular day, I was the kind of person that would sit in front of a TV with a bowl of chips and go back and get more. Or have a bag of candy to myself and eat it all. And so, for the way I felt last night, and it being cookie versus shrimp, it was the shrimp hands down. That's what my body really wanted. The protein, not the sugar overload. So it makes me feel good. And it makes me feel good that once again I'm drawing energy from the fat storage, which means I will continue to lose this weight now. I've got it lined out. I finally have it lined out. And I should have known this was the problem. I should have known. Instead of thinking I'm having too many calories, I'm eating too much. I'm eating before I'm going to bed, which was a bad thing. I'm not supposed to do that. But just, trying to restrict my calories, which was causing me to feel more hungry than not. And some people would say I was going into starvation mode. No, I wasn't. What was happening was, with me trying to make sure that I was within the calorie range that I was given, I was having to cut some things out that my body needed. And then later on, when I'd be fasting, it was saying, give me that, I need that, I need that. So that's another reason why I stopped counting the calories, because I didn't want to keep depriving myself of what it really needed. See, the leafy greens with the proteins generally runs around 1,400 calories. That right there is almost my entire allotment of calories that was given to me through a particular app. Not enough room for anything else. So this way I've truly got what I need. Now one would say, well, after eating the cookies before you went to bed, no. I'm not walking on the cookies that I ate before bed. And I'll tell you how I know. Because when I was eating before bed, I was eating theater box candies. And the next morning, I would be lethargic. And I would even sleep until 9 o'clock. Made no difference. I didn't want to budge. I'd sit on the bed, having to force myself to walk. And when I would try to walk, I would practically drag my heels because I didn't have the energy. So no, I'm not running on the cookies that I ate last night. I am not. I'm running on my fat storage. So, yeah, that means the rate's really going to start dropping again. And that means next Tuesday, unless I screw it up, and I'm not planning on it. I'm not planning on it. You never do plan on having a bad diet. You just end up doing it. But I've got to stay focused and make sure that I don't. That's where it comes to. Staying focused. Don't lose that mindset. Yeah. Next Tuesday's rate will really look good. It'll really look good. So, anyway, I've rambled long enough. Rambled. I've talked long enough about this, but this is something that I just, in reflection, realized. And I couldn't be happier. Anyway, you guys are awesome and terrific, and I greatly appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, thank you. I'm so glad you came. And if this is your first...
You walked 2 miles within 49 minutes and 16 seconds. Last mile took you 24 minutes and 10 seconds. Current heart rate is 103.
See, already 2 miles. And I'm still going. I feel great. Anyway, if this is your first time viewing, please like, subscribe, and share. I would love to see you join my YouTube family and friends. As I said, you all are awesome and terrific, and I truly do appreciate you. I'll see you on the next video. You all have a great day.